Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Marcus Golden issues emotional farewell message after retirement. Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Marcus Golden announced his retirement on Wednesday, ending a 9-season career in the NFL. Golden, who played with the Arizona Cardinals, New York Giants, and Pittsburgh Steelers, announced his retirement via Instagram. Although the Pittsburgh Steelers had already listed Golden, 33, on the reserve/retired list this month, he only publicly confirmed his retirement on Wednesday. Football has always been more than just a sport to me. I've officially retired from the NFL after playing the game I've loved all my life. I feel truly blessed to have been able to live out the dreams and goals I set for myself as a kid, Golden said on Instagram. A big thank you to God, my family, friends, St. Louis, Matthew Dickey Boys and Girls Club, Afton, Hutchinson Community College, Mizzou, the Arizona Cardinals, New York Giants, and Pittsburgh Steelers for giving me the opportunity to pursue my dreams. I'm also incredibly grateful to all the teammates and coaches I had the privilege to work with along the way, he continued. A product of the University of Missouri, Golden was selected by the Arizona Cardinals in the second round of the 2015 NFL Draft. He initially played 4 seasons with the Cardinals, followed by a year and a half with the New York Giants. The former Cardinal endured a torn ACL just 4 games into the 2017 season, which affected his performance in the following year. Although he played 11 games in 2018, he struggled to regain his previous form. Golden returned to the Cardinals for another 2.5 seasons, before concluding his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2023. The 33-year-old experienced 3 separate playoff appearances, concluding with the Steelers in his final season. He was also part of the 2015 Arizona Cardinals squad that made it to the NFC Championship game. To all the incredible fans, thank you. Your passion and energy fueled me, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you, Golden concluded. Golden wraps up his NFL career with 343 tackles, 68 tackles for loss, and 51 sacks in 127 games. He also recorded 1 interception, 11 forced fumbles, and 5 fumble recoveries. Steelers should have kept Kenny Pickett, analyst says, due to preseason QB struggles. Last year, the quarterback position for the Pittsburgh Steelers was terrible. They had 3 different starters who all brought different levels of poor play to the table. It seemed like the team upgraded by acquiring Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, but results have been ugly so far, albeit in the preseason. Considering that Kenny Pickett looked like an All-Pro in the preseason last year, these results aren't definitive, but they are concerning. However, Ben Maller of Fox Sports Radio believes that the Steelers would have been better off with Pickett. Appearing on Fox Sports Radio's show The Odd Couple, Maller spoke about how little he believes in the Steelers' offense. The Steelers are gonna be the same as they have been, Maller said. It's not gonna be any better with Russell Wilson. They should have kept Kenny Pickett, who also stinks. Pickett's terrible. That's a scorching hot take from Maller. Pickett was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles in March after reportedly not wanting to compete against Wilson for the Steelers' starting job. With the Eagles, Pickett has looked just as bad as he was last year. He is reportedly in danger of falling to 3rd quarterback on the Eagles' depth chart. If there are questions about Pickett even holding on to a backup job with the Eagles, how is he better than Wilson or Fields? True, neither Steelers quarterback has looked particularly impressive so far, but they haven't looked bad enough to not deserve playing time. They've both shown flashes of ability that make them better options than Pickett. Wilson has played much less than Fields in the preseason, but he still had a moment or two that should inspire some confidence. His deep shot to George Pickens last Saturday against the Bills didn't end in a completion, but it was a good try. It also showed that Wilson still has decent arm strength and is willing to take shots down the field. Pickett did not provide that. Fields looked rough in the first preseason game, but in the second game, he showed some improvement. It still wasn't perfect, but his rare athleticism was on display. He also had more playing time against backup players, but he looked less overwhelmed. His upside is higher than Pickett's. What would this offense have looked like with Pickett as the starter? The Eagles are one of the best teams in the NFL, and if they can't improve Pickett's game, then maybe he just isn't a very good NFL quarterback. The important part is the Steelers recognized that and tried to rectify their situation. With the starters suiting up in the Steelers' final preseason game, we'll see if Wilson and Fields can improve on what they've already shown. 2 preseason games should not have people revising history and clamoring for Pickett to return. It would take unreal levels of terrible play for the Steelers' offense to be worse this year than it has been for the past few years. If that does end up being the case, at least they tried to do something different and didn't tie themselves to either Wilson or Fields beyond this year. Steelers urged to trade a QB, sign ex-Pro Bowler as replacement. The Pittsburgh Steelers have completely transformed their quarterback room since last year. But ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum argued on August 21 that the Steelers should make more quarterback changes to their roster. On ESPN's Get Up, Tannenbaum proposed the Steelers trade Russell Wilson to the Minnesota Vikings and then sign veteran free agent Ryan Tannehil. Unfortunately for Minnesota, history is repeating itself. We go back to 2016, very unfortunate injury. Teddy Bridgewater had a catastrophic injury at practice. Sam Bradford gets traded from the Eagles to the Vikings, Tannenbaum said, via Steelers Depot. So to me, I think a win-win here is to trade Russell Wilson to Minnesota. I think he's a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. They certainly could battle it out. Then, Ryan Tannehill is still a free agent, guys. If you go back to the 2 years that Ryan Tannehill was with Arthur Smith at Tennessee, they had an unbelievable 2-year run. Tannenbaum added that Tannehill would at least initially serve as backup to Justin Fields. Tannenbaum recalled a bit of history to argue Wilson could land with the Vikings. The injuries to Teddy Bridgewater in 2016 and J.J. McCarthy this year were similarly devastating. As Tannenbaum explained, the Vikings went out and acquired Sam Bradford in 2016. There's a bit difference, though, between Bradford's old team and the current Steelers. The Philadelphia Eagles were finished with Bradford after trading up to draft Carson Wentz at number 2 overall in 2016. Bradford started for the Eagles the season before the trade and was mostly average. He led Philadelphia to a 7-7 record. Wilson has played all of 21 preseason snaps for the Steelers. It's highly unlikely the organization is going to give up on the Super Bowl winning quarterback before the regular season even begins. Tannenbaum's proposal is entirely based on the idea that the Steelers want to start Fields. Although Fields has reportedly gained some ground in their quarterback competition, head coach Mike Tomlin has never stopped indicating that Wilson will be behind center when the regular season begins. The other half of Tannenbaum's argument is the previous connection between Tannehill and Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. The ESPN analyst is right, the two have a great history. Over 2 years in Arthur Smith's offense, Tannehill posted an 18-8 record while averaging 8.6 yards per pass with 55 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. That record was helped by Derrick Henry leading the NFL in rushing during both seasons, but Tannehill undoubtedly played very well. However, the Steelers could have signed Tannehill to compete with Kenny Pickett this season. Instead, they signed Wilson. Then, the Steelers had another opportunity to add Tannehill after trading Pickett. But they acquired Fields instead. It's now close to the beginning of the regular season to make a significant change at quarterback. As advantageous as it would to have a signal caller with experience in Smith's system, Tannehill hasn't been building chemistry with the Steelers' offensive players all summer as Wilson has. Wilson also has an intangible as a former Super Bowl winning quarterback that the Steelers are reportedly attracted to. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Ryan Tannehil? Leave your opinion in the comments.